Hi, and good morning. My name is Marc Miguez. I'm the commander of Carrier Strike Group 2 and the Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group. I'm honored to be standing here with you today with the mighty Ike as a backdrop for us. Sailors are on deck and they're on the verge of getting ready to sail for our scheduled deployment. And that's why I'm here today, is basically to talk about our deployment. So for the last 248 years, our Navy's been underway around the world, operating alongside our allies and partners in dynamic maritime domains to preserve the peace while preparing for war. Today, we carry that legacy forward. The Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group is certified, it's worldwide assignable, and it's ready to bring maritime power in support of any tasking. The Ike Carrier Strike Group is an exceptionally talented warfighting team. It's comprised of over 8,000 sailors, most talented and motivated and hardworking sailors across 3 staffs, 4 ships, and 9 squadrons. And behind me are my warfare commanders, who have been laying that groundwork for months in preparation for this event. I'll start off with Captain Chris Hill. He's the commanding officer of our flagship, the Dwight D. Eisenhower. We also have Captain Mitch McCallister. He's the commander of Carrier Air Wing 3. We also have Captain David Rowe. He's the Commodore of Desron Squadron 22. And finally, and last but not least, we have Captain Mitchell Finke, who is our Information Warfare Commander behind me today. This strike group is departing on time for its scheduled deployment to the European theater. And while I cannot discuss specific future operations of the force, I can tell you that we're eager to operate with our allies and partners across the entire AOR. And similar to how we practiced during our certification exercise in July, we will also have an Italian frigate, the ITS Vergiano Fasan, that operated with us in the month of July during our certification event. The strike group's practice of NATO integration ahead of our deployment enhanced our development and interchangeability and prepared us well to operate with our allied maritime command forces and control linkages to basically make us interoperable with all our NATO partners. But as always, the enemy gets a vote. The strike group is ready to pivot and answer tasking as our nation's leaders determine a balance of maritime capability across theaters in support of national security priorities. While the global environment is dynamic, especially with recent hostilities, the Ike Carrier Strike Group team has proven itself resilient, prepared to execute, and capable of carrying out its missions across all warfare areas in short order. The Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group is ready to support operational and diplomatic objectives and answer the question of our nation's leaders: where are my carrier strike groups? Our deployment will undoubtedly strengthen relationships with our allies and partners, and we share the goal to deter aggression and, if required, deliver overwhelming combat power. I will now turn over the mic to Captain Chris Hill, who's our commanding officer of the Dwight D. Eisenhower. Captain Hill.
Thank you, Admiral. Good morning. I'm Captain Chris Hill, USS Dwight D. Eisenhower's commanding officer. To echo Admiral Miguez, Ike's deployment is timely because we're getting underway right around the 248th birthday of the United States Navy. Thus, we are a continuation of the U.S. Navy's long-standing commitment to being forward deployed, to deterring aggression, and to providing overwhelming air power when our country needs it. We are proud to contribute to world peace in this way. This October 18th marks Ike's 46th year of commissioned service, and we're about to commence the ship's 20th overseas deployment since 1977. We often have to remind ourselves that it is important to honor the legacy of the men and women who served on this ship before us. This is what all warrior sailors do. Another key part of our mission is naval diplomacy. This is important. U.S. Navy warrior sailors have been seafaring diplomats since the service's inception. We take great pride in assuring our many allies that we have their back. This allows us to be united in deterring aggression and assuring freedom of navigation to all nations everywhere. We also recognize that sailors and their families are our most valuable asset, and their health and well-being remains a top priority. We are constantly trying to improve quality of life despite the many rigors of Navy life. Ike is deploying, for example, with the robust interdisciplinary resilience team, That includes a psychologist, chaplains, a deployment resiliency counselor, behavioral health technicians, a social worker, and peer resiliency mentors, which is essentially sailors helping sailors. Ike will also be deploying with several morale lockers in outfitted spaces courtesy of the USO, in addition to a Wi-Fi system that allows for a degree of communication off-shift with friends and family, and a 2-year-old yellow Labrador golden retriever whose name is Demo, who has recently become part of the Ike crew to assist with managing stress. Ike's motto is greater each day. I can tell you that each Ike warrior sailor has worked exceptionally hard over the past year to make Ike the best damn ship in the Navy. I could not be more proud of this team. President Eisenhower once said, "Never send a battalion to take a hill if a regiment is available." As the flagship of this Carrier Strike Group, the mighty Ike is ready to provide overwhelming air power to deter aggression and promote world peace. We train rigorously for this deployment, and as I said, we are excited to celebrate the Navy's 248th birthday this weekend by sending the best damn ship in the Navy to sea. Thank you. So up until the very end, we're always working small issues here and there, so we are continuing to do that right now. I can't comment on the specifics of exactly when we get underway, but I'd refer you to the Second Fleet Public Affairs Officer for that one. Thank you.
Again, like Captain Hill said, we're extremely proud of the team. The sailors have worked extremely hard over the last 8 months to get to this event. And it's something that we are extremely proud of, and especially the friends and family and the spouses and the support networks that are back here on the beach. I just want you to know that we take our sailors' welfare into account on every evolution. And it's one of the most important things. It's our most valuable asset when it comes to combat and when it comes to deterrence and sailing these massive capital warships out to sea. Again, across the strike group, we have focused on that, mental health concerns, and we are attacking that aggressively. And I look forward to seeing most of the families, if they can make it, as we venture out into this deployment. And we have tons of port calls scheduled. We hope to execute those in the near future once we get underway. It's something that I've experienced numerous times throughout my career, but to be in this leadership role and to watch this team come together and integrate was one of my main goals, to see this occur. And the culminating event that we had back in July was when I saw the team operate, and we're talking all the ships in the strike group and the air wing team. It's something that was a goal of mine, and I got to see that to fruition, and I'm very proud of it, and I can't wait to get underway to show the world exactly what the Ike Strike Group is capable of. Yeah, like you said, I can't comment on specifics as far as naval force movements, but this strike group in particular has been scheduled to go on deployment during this week for months. So this is a routine deployment that's been scheduled for a while. Again, we have global events that occur, and like I said in my opening statement, the first question that gets asked by our national leaders is, where are the carrier strike groups? We just happen to coincide this scheduled deployment with some worldwide events that are going on right now, and when asked, we will support whatever we're tasked with, either that's in the European AOR, potentially the CENTCOM AOR, and potentially even the Pacific. We are completely trained across the spectrum of threats that are out there that we are faced with on a daily basis. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll let our CAG talk here for a second as far as the air wing's concerned, but from a ship's perspective, I could feel that I won't call it tension, I call it a helpful kind of invigoration as far as what we do on a daily basis matters. And we're going to make history in some form, fashion, function, wherever we go. And it's something to be part of a historic event, to be part of the strike group. I'll turn over to CAG for a second to talk about maybe about the air wing.
Good morning, Capt. Mitch McCallister, Commander, Carrier Air Wing 3. Really cool question, glad you asked it. I think, as the Admiral mentioned, we've been working for months and months and months, getting ready for this deployment, no different for the air wing. For the excitement of kind of where we stand with what's going on in the world right now, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of excitement, really, to get forward and strengthen alliances. I think you can make an argument right now that NATO has never been more important. We're going to have an opportunity very soon to go forward and operate with our allies and partners. And from the air wing side of the house, that is really what we're looking forward to, is working with our allies.
Okay, thanks again for coming out. I appreciate it.